Okay, so here's going to be me going over the test review. I am doing this at home, so if you hear any extra other sounds, my kids, my dog, whatever, excuse me for that. I'm going to try to go over every single problem, and if you do have any questions, feel free to let me know, hopefully tomorrow in the morning or during lunch or before you take your test. Okay, so we have the first one, 3x minus 4y equals 24. Okay, now as I said before, you have to divide the x-intercept, and again I've said, the x-intercept is a number, comma, 0. The y-intercept is 0, comma, some number. And we get that by, say, taking the answer, number after the equal sign, and dividing by the x number, and the answer dividing by the y number. So what I mean by that is, like I'm saying, 24 divided by 3 is 8. So my x-intercept is 8, comma, 0. 24 divided by negative 4, so I'm thinking this as a negative 4, is negative 6. So 0, negative 6. So 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down. Because 8, again, this is on the x. This one's on the y. Connect the two, and there you go. So you need to make sure you know how to find the x-intercept, how to find the y-intercept, and how to get the graph. So I'm going to go through the others fairly quickly like that, but they would be very similar. So number 2, 5x plus 6y equals 30. So if I divide 30 by 6, or 30 by 5, I get 6. 30 by 6, I get 5. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And read like there. You need to make sure you count those type of numbers very carefully, because maybe on an answer choice it might be like slightly adjusted, and like maybe it's like at something like this where I do a wrong answer, and I'm going to do this in blue, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it looks like it's about right, but if you count those numbers, you would see that they're off. So that blue one, remember, is wrong, the orange one is correct. Okay, number 3, I'll do it in blue now. 2y minus 3x equals 18. Notice that the 2 is the y, the x is negative 3. So when I divide these, okay, 18 divided by negative 3, because that's the number in front of the x, is negative 6. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So here I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And not a very well-drawn line, but you get the idea. Okay. So again, all I did was divide the answer by the numbers to get the different points, and then find those points on the x and y axis to get the answer. Okay. Finally, number 4, I have 10x plus 5y is equal to negative 40. So again, negative 40 divided by 10 is negative 4. Negative 40 divided by 5 is negative 8. So negative 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4 on the x. Negative 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the y. And then connect the 2 points. And hopefully, again, these connections are a little bit better, but I'm trying to draw quickly. But you get the point right there. Okay, so for the next one, we're using this point, or this equation, y equals 3x minus 4, and the point 2 comma 5. And they ask you for something that is parallel. Okay, and so that would be for problems 5, 6, and then I'll do 7 over here. Keep in mind, with parallel, we're looking for same slope. Maybe that's something you add to your note card. And when we're looking at this type of format, we're saying y is equal to mx plus b. And again, the m is your slope, so that number that is in front of the x. The b is your y-intercept. So when you're looking for a parallel slope that is parallel, you're going, okay, where's my slope on the original equation? My slope is 3. So the slope of a line that is parallel, and there's my symbol for parallel, is 3. I don't need this anymore. I'm just going to use this 2, 5, and this 3 to come up with the next parts. On the next one, they say write it in point slope form, which is this format: y minus y1, x minus m parentheses x minus x1. So you go like y minus equals x minus blank. Y with y, so 5, y with y, x with x, slope in the middle. And then if you solve that, distribute, you'd have y minus 5 is equal to 3x minus 6, because 3 times 2 is 6. Add 5, you would have y is equal to 3x minus 1. So there you go. This is the slope of a line that is parallel to the original 3x minus 4, but that goes through the point 2, 5. Okay, so here's the next set of questions for 8, 9, probably don't need that much space, 9, and 10. Okay, so again, we're looking for something that's parallel. So I find the slope, 2/5. So the slope of a line that's parallel is 2/5. And then I don't worry about this equation at all. And then I go, okay, what's this point slope form? And again, start off like this. I might even write something like that about point slope form in my note card where I have these blanks, and then say you got to put the blanks, you know, y with y, x with x, slope in the middle, that type of thing. So y with y, x with x, slope in the middle. And then you would need to know that negatives, double negatives, should become positive. And so I've got y plus 6 is equal to 2 over 5 x, distribute. 2/5 times 5, you can type that in the calculator, would give you an answer of 2. Subtract 6, you get y is equal to 2/5 x minus 4. And there's the equation of a line that is parallel to the original, but, you know, goes through a different point. Goes through the point of -5, -6. Okay, so now we want something that's perpendicular to y equals 3x minus 4. And again, we're worrying about the slope. Notice I'm not even worrying about anything else other than that number that's in front of the x. And if I want to be perpendicular to that, remember, perpendicular means opposite reciprocal. Okay, so you might want to make sure that you understand that this means change the sign, and this means like flip the fraction. If you for some reason do not understand that, or did not realize that, or get that from your middle school days, well, there you go. So you need to realize that for, say, number 11 here, we're saying that if I want something perpendicular, and this upside down T is my symbol for perpendicular, I'm going to say, okay, here's a positive 3. I'm going to change that to a negative. It's 3 over 1, so I'm going to go 1 over 3, and there is my new slope. Then I'm ignoring this. And then I can go on to number 12 and say y minus equals, parentheses, x minus, close the parentheses, and use my point, -1, 3, and -1/3. Y with y, x with x, slope in the middle. So now there's my point slope, and then I can start solving to get it to number 13, which would be the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So y plus 1 is equal to negative 1/3 x. Negative 1/3 times negative 3 would be positive 1. And you can type that in a calculator and easily figure that out. Subtract 1, because we always should be doing the opposite. So first step again is to distribute. Second step is to add or subtract. In this case, the opposite of an add is to subtract. So we're always doing opposites. 1 minus 1 is 0, so I'm just going to put here negative 1/3 x, and I'm done. Now again, keep in mind what you're doing here is you're coming up with, the questions could be, what's the slope of something perpendicular? What is the equation of the new line? These are things you have to be able to find. But again, part of this is recognizing the new slope. Because if you can do that, that probably gets you down to 50-50. So you need to make sure you understand that. Okay, so here's the next one. Y is equal to negative 1/4 x minus 4. You want a new line that goes through 2, negative 3 that is perpendicular to that. So again, if my original slope is negative 1/4, again, change the sign, flip the numbers, or switch them. So the slope that would be perpendicular, which is question number 14, would be 4, because 4 over 1 is 4. Number 15, then I can go y minus equals parentheses x minus, close it. Notice how I always write this. I always start off by putting everything down, the formula with the blanks, and then I fill in the blanks. So negative 3, 2, 4. Minus a negative 3 becomes positive. So to move on to 16, I would just go y plus 3 is equal to 4x. 4 times 2 is 8. And then to solve that, subtract 3, y is equal to 4x minus 11. So there you go on that. That is number 16. Okay, so basically you can see here. Now realize again, I'm not going to go through, say, multiple questions here. This might just be all one question. 14, 15, 16 might be combined into one question for the test. So you need to be prepared for that. Okay, do not forget to add this into your this little thing to help you, solid line into your note card. Less than, greater than, are broken lines. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, are solid lines. Less than or equal to is shade below. Greater than or equal to, shade above. And even if you want to make note, like, what does a broken line look like? You know, what does a solid line look like? What does shade above look like? Or shade below? Shade below would look something like that. Shade above. You know, so that way you kind of know how they work. You could do that. Again, the point is when you're doing these note cards, you're not supposed to have specific examples. And then pretty soon I'm going to start counting off if y'all do have those specific examples. Okay, make sure you understand the characteristics. I'm going to go through and show you how to graph. But the idea is if you understand the characteristics of the inequality, you'll actually be able to probably do this better with a multiple choice than necessarily that knowledge. So keep in mind, I look at this inequality and I see a less than symbol or greater than symbol. That tells me I'm going to have a broken line and it's going to shade above. So I would first look for something like that. Now in this case, keep in mind, you still have to worry about your y-intercept, -1. Your slope tells you to go up 2, 3 to the right, up 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 to the right, and you're going to make a broken line. That is shaded above. And keep in mind, any point that's in that shade is a solution. So like, let's say you say 1, 1. That's considered a solution. Notice how it's in the parentheses. Let's say you say 2 and 4, -2 and 4. -2, +4. That's a solution. But if you said 2, -4, 2, -4 is not a solution because it's outside the shaded area. So you need to make sure you understand that because those are questions that could be asked. Okay, y is equal to negative 4 over 7x plus 2. Here's the plus 2. Again, notice that with this one, we're going to look for a line that should be solid and shaded below. So I'm going from 2 down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's that point. Solid line. Shade below. And there you go. So there's that. 3x plus 1, again, notice here there's another solid line that should be shaded above. So here's positive 1, 1, 2, 3, up 1 over 1. And again, I should be seeing a line that goes solid, shade above. Okay, here we have y is less than negative 2x plus 8. Again, looking at the inequality, I should be seeing a broken line that is shaded below. Notice I'm deciding this before I even start trying to worry about the graph. Okay, the y-intercept is at 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. I could keep that up if I needed to. Broken line. And shade below. Shade below. And there you go. Alright, so that one's that. Again, I'm going through these quickly. If you do have more questions, you should be able to come to me and ask them specific. Do not come back in the morning saying, I didn't get this, or I don't understand. Be specific. You gotta know what you don't, you gotta try to figure out what you don't understand. Okay, y is less than 7 over 3x minus 4, so let's do the minus 4. 1, 2, 3. Again, here's another less than, means broken line, shade below. So again, starting at negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3. There's your other point. And you should see a broken line, which is what I'm making, and shade below. And think, again, how do I know this is shade below? Well, look. Take this point right here. Isn't this below it? Isn't this below it? So there you go. Shade below. Okay, y is greater than negative 2/5 x. Again, I should be looking for a solid line that's shaded above. There is no y-intercept, so I start at 0. This negative 2 tells me to go down and to the right. Down 2, 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like that. Solid line. Shade above. And there you go. Okay, I'm going to go with this one a little bit differently because, again, if I see this in standard form, honestly, I think it would be a lot easier to do x and y intercepts, which is what you had to do at the beginning of this review. So 24 divided by 3 is 8. 24 divided by negative 4 is negative 6. So I know I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down, 8 across, or 8 to the right. But you have to be careful here. Notice this right here. That's a broken line. That won't change. But you have to be careful. This is a rule you might want to make sure you take note of. If there is a minus in front of that y, or a negative in front of that y, that will switch the inequality because you're going to divide by a negative. And so that would switch that inequality and make that a less than. It doesn't matter if it's the x. It only matters the y. And that's because of how you would go about solving that equation. So make sure you've got that correctly set up. Okay, here I've got 5x plus 6y is greater than 30. I'm going to do the intercepts again. 6, 0, 0, 5, because 30 divided by 5 is 6. 30 divided by 6 is 5. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Solid line. Notice I am not going to change it because there was no minus in front of the y. So this is still going to be a greater than, which means shade above. So that's the review right there. That's every single problem. But keep in mind, the things that we did go over about the steps for getting that linear regression, because you're going to have questions about that. Making sure you understand the meaning behind the answers, because you're going to have situational problems. So you need to make sure you understand those. If you do, everything should be fine. This shouldn't be that bad of a test. But you got to make sure you understand the deeper meanings, because we're asking more than just, here's this, what's the graph? I want more than that. Okay? Good luck. If you do have any questions, make sure you get to school early so you can ask them before class starts. Thank you very much.